Ladies and gentlemen, Gene DiNapoli.
Hey. And darkness fills the room. Hello. Hey, Mikey.
How are you, Gene?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Happy Monday.
Exciting show coming up. Yeah, happy Monday. How was your weekend?
You know what? It was relaxing. Then I had a gig. It was fun, although I had to do my Elvis show with the beard because, I'm playing a father in a TV pilot, and we were supposed to film 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And one of the guys got COVID, so now it's postponed until December 6th. And I had to keep the beard. So for the first time in 40 years, I did an Elvis show yesterday with a beard.
How did it go? Was Elvis accepted with a beard?
Let's not go there. It was weird. Because Elvis is such an iconic figure with the hair and the sideburns.
Right.
But, like my wife said, well, nobody comes to your shows and says, oh, my God, Gene is an exact double, So, listen, the people that come to my shows now know what I am. I'm an entertainer, and this is for the future. So we have to bend with the times.
Right.
How about you? How was your weekend?
It went very fast. The same thing. Friday, Monday, weekend's over.
Yeah. I told you I'm going to start throwing my hat into the politics game, and my platform is going to be 3-day weekends.
I like it.
Yeah.
You have my vote.
I might as well promise the world and deliver nothing, right?
Sure. Exactly.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reminiscing with Gene DiNapoli. I'm your host, Gene DiNapoli, my producer, Mike DeRita. Thank you all for tuning in. I think tonight you're going to have a great time. We're really looking forward, as we do every week, but tonight was a little special because it's an iconic personality. But before we get into that, hi, everybody on the comments. Please keep the comments coming in. If you want to ask questions, feel free. I want to thank our sponsors, of course, Pure Organic Dry Cleaning, our friend Wally at 3166 East Tremont Avenue. Pay for 3 items, get your 4th one free. Our friends at sweetheal.com, which is for CBD products. Mention Gene and get 20% off your order and a free gift. Sun-drenched cruises, dream destinations travel. Our friends Howard and Karen, the best in cruise planning, honeymoon planning, and destination weddings. And then finally, Francisco, the creative CPA. Mention our podcast and get 2 hours. The first 2 customers that call get an hour of free advice, no charge. So, and that's all on our Reminiscing with Gene DiNapoli page under the tab offers. So, thanks for coming, Danielle. So, Mike, really, every week the shows is just so exciting. And today, I actually jumped for joy when this gentleman said he would do the show a few weeks ago. People call people like this gentleman a one-hit wonder. But that's not true.
No.
Might have had one huge hit, but he had many more. And they defined a generation. Because in the middle of the turbulent 60s, especially the latter part, he gave America and the world some of the most fun, bouncy songs to grace the stations.
Yes.
And the songs are great when they live on.
Of course.
And we are going to talk about that along with everything else. This man is an encyclopedia. He's a treasure trove of information and talent. So, Mike, as we do each and every week, with a big round of applause, will you welcome our guest tonight, the wonderful, iconic, and forever young Mr. Ron Dante.
Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mike. Hey, Jimmy.
How are you?
Good.
Hi,
Good
Ron.
to be here.
So glad you could be here.
Thank
you know, Ron, every week we've been blessed with great guests. And I got to tell you, when we put your banner up, the people just couldn't believe that somebody like me, I'm just a local entertainer. I'm not a national celebrity. I'm not Cousin Brucey. And they said to me, how much are you paying Ron Dante to get him on your show? And I said, the man said yes without even question. So I want to thank you for being such a down-to-earth guy and doing this for me.
You're very welcome. Of course, a fellow New Yorker. You're from the Bronx. I'm from Staten Island.
Yes,
we're buddies.
Absolutely.
You know?
And how many of our viewers did not know that you're a Staten Island kid?
You know, I'm the one who escaped. It's a very tough island to get off of, but I got off when I was about 17 or 18. But I still go back. I got tons of family still on Staten Island. We're all over the place. I got cousins in every business. You know, from security guys to teachers, and
wow.
everybody's still there.
That's fabulous, and we're so proud to add your list to the New York talent. Yeah. You know, we had Vito Picone on the show a few weeks ago, and so I said he put Staten Island on the map for doo-wop. You put Staten Island on the map for what was considered bubblegum, but as you get older in life, you realize the term bubblegum doesn't mean childish. It means happiness.
Yeah.
And I think people misconstrue that word for being immature or being nonsensical. Your songs really made people forget about their problems for those 2 or 3 minutes. And we spoke before you actually started, but you were very young. In 1963, you were the youngest person to get a publishing deal with the legendary Don Kirshner, right?
That's right. I got into his office. Somebody auditioned me, and I sang one of their songs that they published, and they just loved it. Don Kirshner said, "I'm going to sign you, kid, $50 a week." You know, I said, listen, I got to get 55. I was, even at 17, I was negotiating. I said, I got to support my family. He said, no problem, kid, you got it. So he was really nice to me. And it was a great start because you know who was in that office was Tony Orlando, Carole King, and Neil Sedaka, you know, and Man and Wild, all these great songwriters and artists. And I was right there in the mix with them, doing their backgrounds or doing some demos for them. So it was a great moment.
So you really grew up in the business with a myriad of professionals who went on to legendary status as well.
They were already doing very well. Tony Orlando already had his first couple of hits. Neil Sedaka already had Calendar Girl, and you know all the other ones. Carole King had just written Locomotion. Wow. So they were riding high for young people. Of course, they were like 7, 8 years older than I was. But I said, this is what I'm going to shoot for: is to have a great career in the music business.
And you did that. But your first love before you did music, you were a sports person, correct?
Well, I played baseball a lot. I played, I did some other things like that. But basically, I was playing and I busted my arm doing one of these things. And the doctor said to me, it's going to be stiff the rest of your life. It may be shorter. So you better do some kind of exercise with it. So he said, you can either squeeze a ball or take up an instrument. And I said, well, I love Elvis. He's my idol. So I'm going to take up guitar. And that changed the whole course of my life. I mean, all of a sudden I had a guitar in my hand. I learned some of his songs. I wrote some new songs, and I formed a band at like 14, 15 years old.
And that came as a result. You had a minor accident hanging from a tree.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's right. I fell out of a tree.
Out of a tree. So you picked up a guitar, thanks to Elvis, as we know, is my man as well. And the first group you were integral of was a group called the Detergents. And right. So you were the guitar player and the lead singer.
Yeah, I didn't sing lead on their first hit single.
You didn't.
My friend Tommy Wynn did it. I was staff writer at Kirshner's, and these two fellas we wrote together, Danny Jordan and Tommy Wynn, both Italian guys, and we all formed a great group of songwriters and stuff. But Danny's uncle was a famous songwriter, and he wrote Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. So he said he had this parody. He wanted all three of us to come in and put our voices on. So we went in and put our voices on it. About 3 weeks later, Murray the K played it on his radio show on the Battle of the Singles. And we beat out You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling with Leader of the Laundromat. It was great. It was great. Murray was, of course, he was the king of New York then.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you, Ron, I think your mic.
Yeah. Is your volume up?
Yes.
Can you just turn it down just a little bit? We're getting a little feedback now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So the first song you hit, Leader of the Laundromat. So you could say that you were a precursor to Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You can hear me okay now?
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. So, no, we were doing parodies of. There was another Shangri-La's hit called "I Can Never Go Home Again." So they wrote a song called "I Can Never Eat Home Again." That was our second or third single. You know, we did great parodies. We went out and toured with Dick Clark for about a year.
Wow.
And the Shangri-La's would go on and do their hit, and then we would come out and do our hit. You know, and the girls loved it. Mary Weiss of the Shangri-La's, they were just happy that we were on the tour with them. We became friends.
And those tours lasted a while.
Oh yeah, they were long tours with long bus tours. You know, we went from Texas to Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was fun. I got to meet lots of nice people.
But we have to let our viewers know that they were not the buses of today.
Oh no.
With bathrooms and showers and Xboxes. No.
The seats were lucky. They rolled back a bit.
Wow.
I used to, up in the rack where you put luggage.
Right.
I put a sleeping bag up there, and I slept up in the rack. They couldn't find me half the time.
Well, thank God you're a shortstop looking person.
Yeah.
If I got in the rack, I would have broke the metal. So that's why I never slept in the rack. So now you with the detergents, how long did that last?
It lasted about a year and a half.
Okay.
We toured. We did some more singles, and then it finally dissolved. You know, we were on Roulette Records.
Yes.
And Roulette Records never paid us. You know,
Morris
we were lucky
Levy.
They didn't off us.
Yeah.
You know,
Morris Levy.
Morris Levy. We never asked him for money. Yeah.
Unbelievable the way it worked back then, right?
Yeah.
So now the detergents dissolves. That's kind of funny, and you wind up. You're a studio guy, and you wind up doing songs as the Cufflinks.
Right.
So this is really a reversal of how it goes. Normally, you go out, you do gigs, you get a following, you write a song, you go in the studio. You did it reverse.
Yes.
So the detergents, it worked, and then you did it as the Cufflinks, and you had one of my favorite songs of all time. Mike, do you have Tracy?
Sure do. Yeah,
please play a little bit for our listeners.
Tracy, when I'm with you, something you do bounces me off the ceiling. Tracy, day after day, when you're this way, I get a love.
Wonderful. That's a pop song. That's not bubblegum. That's pop.
Well, that had like two or three key changes in it.
Right.
It wasn't just a simple song. The guys who wrote it were actually the guys who wrote "Leader of the Laundromat."
Wow.
Same guys, Vance and Pockrass. And Lee Pockrass was a very competent and educated musician. So if you listen to that record, you'll see it's pretty complicated. It changes keys. It's a great lyric by Paul Vance, and it just hit at the same time Sugar Sugar hit.
Right.
Which was interesting that I had both records on the chart.
Now, was that the top 20, the top 40? What was the when they were both on the charts at the same time? What was the position ranking?
Sugar Sugar was number 1, and in Billboard, Tracy was number 9.
Wow.
So I had two in the top 10.
So you had 2 in the top 10.
Yeah.
So now, did you go out as the Cufflinks? Was that another tour or group? Or
no. Actually, they put out another group. They put out a touring group to go sing Tracy and some of the follow-ups. but I did the entire first album.
Right.
That on the Cufflinks. I sang all the leads, all the backgrounds.
So why did that happen? Why were you the singer and the session guy and other people went out and toured? What was the deal with that?
Well, it was because I didn't want to go out as with the group.
Oh.
I had a contract with Don Kirshner for the Archies. And I was promised that I would get my own solo album after the Archies peaked a little bit. And so I stayed with Don Kirshner and pursued the solo album deal instead of going out with the Cufflinks, which I just didn't want to do at the time. I thought there was more work between you and me. There's more work with the Kirshner organization than just the Archies. There were other TV shows. There were projects to produce. It was a much bigger deal.
Well, that's indicative of Don Kirshner.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't become one of the greatest promoters and TV producers if you're laid back.
Yeah. No, he was a monster. He was a great monster, though. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He'd take care of you. When I worked with him as a teenager, somebody stole my really good guitar out of my car. And I went to Don and I said, Don, somebody stole my guitar. He said, here's a check. Go buy the same guitar. Right? So about 6 months later, they stole that guitar. And I went back to Donnie and I said, I'm sorry. And, you would have thought he said, no, here's the check. Go buy you another guitar. I trust you. It was one of those good guys.
Yes, absolutely. I've heard nothing but great about him.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the Archies. You were a precursor to the cartoons of the Osmonds and the Jackson 5. The Archies, of course, comic book legends. Whose idea was it to make a cartoon? Was it Don Kirshner's?
Kirshner was brought in as the music supervisor. The deal was made between Archie Comics and Filmation, which is the company out here that did Saturday morning cartoon shows. They brought Donnie in because he was so successful with the Monkees. So Donnie brought in all these great writers and singers for the Monkees and made them, the biggest group in the world in the mid-'60s. They wanted him to do that for the Archies, and they wanted to have a hit record. So that was the idea, that the Archies would have he said, have the Archies have a group, a musical group. We'll do 2 or 3 dances of the week. We'll do song of the week. And that was the big push in cartoons at that time. It set the style for all the other, you're right, all the other cartoons.
This is great art right here.
Isn't that great? That's my friend Dan Parent who did that.
Yeah, that's legendary. And Mike, could you put up the picture of Ron and Davy Jones?
Sure.
We're talking about the Monkees. This is you and the legendary Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Was this at a show that you did together, or?
We did a show together. I think it was in Las Vegas. He was playing the South Point, and I went ahead and I joined him on stage and I sang a couple of songs with him, including Sugar Sugar.
Right.
He was one great guy.
Right. So you said the magic word. So let's delve. You said Sugar Sugar. All right. And as Groucho Marx would say, that's the word of the day. Ding, ding, ding. So let's talk about Sugar Sugar. Written by your good friend Andy Kim. Right. Produced and written by him. Matter of fact, I'd like to show you a picture of me, you, and Andy at the Bottom Line here in New York many years ago. That's us.
Hey, man, look at us.
Yeah.
Andy wrote that song with Jeff Barry.
Yes.
Who's a legendary songwriter. That's good, man. It's a good picture. Got to send it to me. Yeah.
I will. And that's one I'm going to send it to you to autograph as well.
What year was that?
98, 2004, 2005.
Okay.
Maybe 15, 16. It was at the Bottom Line in New York in the Village. It was you, Andy Kim, Gary Lewis and the Playboys. It was about 5 acts. And I think you did that because you were doing a rehearsal to go on tour. I think that's what
we did tour that show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was a rehearsal. They might have recorded it too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So Sugar Sugar, Mike, play a few seconds. Let's get everybody in the mood. Here we go.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey.
Who on this planet, Gene, doesn't know that song and love that song?
I'll tell you, Mike. Do you know why people all over the world know that song?
Why?
Never mind. Forget about if Ron Dante and the Archies didn't make that a worldwide hit. Listen to the people that have covered that song. Now, one of my favorites, you might not know, Wilson Pickett.
Yeah.
Wilson Pickett, one of the best versions. But listen to this. Are you ready, Mike? I'm going to educate you.
Go ahead.
Tom Jones.
Wow.
No. Did he?
Gladys Knight and the Pips. Neil Sedaka, which was a given. Ike and Tina Turner.
Wow.
And one of my favorites, who I would adore to get on the show, Olivia Newton-John.
Ooh, wow.
But do you know when a great poet, a great poem transcends languages? This song was so great. You ready for the cherry on the icing, Mike?
I'm ready.
Bob Marley.
I can see that. I can see that.
Bob Marley made it a '1 hit in Kingston, Jamaica.
Wow.
So here's a song that is considered bubblegum in the middle of 69, 70, when we're in Vietnam, all the dissension, the Temptations are doing Ball of Confusion, Dion's doing Abraham Martin. All these people are doing protest and anti-songs, and out of the woodwork comes a song to make you smile.
Yeah.
And Ron, what did you know when you heard that song? Did you know?
I wish I could say I did. We were recording many, many songs. The only thing I remember about the Sugar Sugar session is that we worked harder on it than any of the other cuts. It took longer to get the rhythm track. Jeff Barry, the producer, worked the drums and the bass a lot more than he used to. And they finally brought Andy out, and Andy played the original cassette demo that they started to make, and they got the feel. But it took Andy to come out with his guitar and plug in that tempo and the right, the rhythm and everything that made it work. Right. Then I worked on the vocal a little harder than usual.
Wow.
I wanted to assume a different sound, because it was the Archies, it was a cartoon group.
Right.
So I kind of imagined that I was doing Donovan in Mellow Yellow.
Okay.
So if you hear sugar, honey, yeah. I was doing a little bit of Donovan, but it came out my own sound.
Right. And you had the foresight to put the female vocal in there, who was and still is the great Tony Wine, not only responsible for some of Tony Orlando's hits, but also married to one of Elvis's producers, Chip Smolden.
Yeah.
Who resurrected Elvis's career. Yeah. So Tony, So how did Tony wind up there?
Well, Tony was a close friend of mine. She started off at the Kirshner office with me the same month.
Wow.
And Jeff Barry and Don Kirshner knew Tony was the best background singer in the city. So she was going to be in, the female voices of the Archies and the backgrounds. So she was there, but it was Don Kirshner and Jeff Barry's call. And I couldn't have been happier. Tony is like my sister. We've known each other since we've been, 16 and 17 years old.
Wow.
And she wrote, writing groovy kind of love would be enough, but she's done, Candida and all the other songs. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So her and Chips, they're a power couple.
Absolutely.
She's a woman who brought just as much to the table as Chips did. So that's very rare that you see this.
Yes.
In the business. So now, Sugar, you're riding the crest of fame for a few years. When did it start to descend? The single, it was still good in '71, I remember, right?
We had like 4 or 5 chart hits.
Yeah.
Jingle Jangle hit almost top 10. Who's Your Baby? There were like 4 or 5 hits over the next 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And of course, when the TV show went off, I think that's when the Archies kind of went away for a while.
Okay. All right, but you continued that great sound. Mike, you got Bang Shangalang there?
Sure do.
This is a great song. This I got to tell you, I love Sugar Sugar, but
I recall just walking down the street, trying to escape the city. I saw her from the corner of my eye. Yeah, she looked so good, I thought I'd die. My heart went bang, shang, lang, bang, shang, lang, bang, shang, lang, bang, bang.
this is great. You just can't help but be happy when you hear these songs. Really, it's great.
Yeah.
And there's one other that I want to play right now, and then we'll do more later. Mike, what about you got Sally in there?
Sure do.
Yeah, play Sally Ann.
Sally Ann smile, Sally Ann smile. On a rainy night, at the crack of dawn, a little baby cried, and Sally Ann was born. She grew prettier every day, and I remember what I used to.
Fabulous. I mean, these are just bouncy songs, and they're really indicative of you as a person, because everybody that I spoke to that knows you says you're just a ray of sunshine when you walk into a room. So it progressed into your recordings. You never did any sad recordings, right?
Not many. Not really.
Right.
My voice lended itself to very positive songs.
Right.
You have to know the musicians who played on Sugar Sugar or Tracy or Sally Ann, they were all the top New York musicians.
Right.
Two of them, Hugh McCracken and David Spinoza, two guitar players, they were so good that when Paul McCartney came to New York to do Ram, he hired them to play on that album.
Wow.
Because he just loved these guys could play great, especially Hugh McCracken and David. So we had a lot of good people in there. The producers were top notch, and I just love singing these songs. Every time I do them live, it feels like I'm doing it for the first time again.
Right.
Yeah, Gene, I don't know who was smiling more, me, you, or Ron when those songs. Who was smiling more, me, you, or Ron?
I think we're all neck and neck right now.
Yeah.
You got that album cover, Mike? I want you to put up that album cover.
Sure, the new one.
No, the old one.
Yes.
The single or the album. Yeah. Look at this.
Wow.
You have a Donny Osmond smile. Look at you. Perfect teeth. All teeth. All teeth.
And all collars.
All collars.
Yeah,
So
big collars.
you brought up the word producing, and you have you did okay in that field as well. You started producing pretty much right off the bat, and you have the distinction of being the only person who produced 9 of Barry Manilow's albums. I mean, that's a testament to itself. How did that happen? Yeah, it is you and Barry.
We met singing a commercial.
Yes.
And he asked me, he said, I know who you are. I know you've had hits. You're a top jingle singer. I'd like you to listen to some of my songs. I'd like to be a soloist. I said, sure. So next day I went to his place and he played me some of his songs, and he played me Could It Be Magic? And I said, wow, that's a classic. I'm going to produce you. I'm going to take you into the studio. We went into the studio, made an album. About a year later, Mandy came out, and we never looked back. We had 18 singles that were hits in a row.
Wow.
It was just a great time. He was such an easy guy to work with because he was so super talented, so laid back. He did great arrangements too. He did that for Bet. He did it for Bette Midler, and he did it for himself.
Right. Now you mentioned the jingles. We all of course know Barry wrote a few jingles, but you had a nice slew as well. I don't know if you know this, but we have a clip of you that we want to show our viewers of your jingle career.
Okay.
Michael.
Everybody has heard these commercials. One time I was doing a commercial, I met this guy named Barry Manilow. And he said, well, let's write some commercials together. We wrote some commercials together. We sang some commercials together. I'm going to do some of my commercials. See if you know this one. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. Sing it's the real thing. Coke is, that's the way it should be. Coca-Cola. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Alright, be a pepper, drink. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, mountains don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. And here's for the drinkers in the crowd. Here comes the king, here comes the king, here comes the big number one. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. And we've done some insurance commercials over the years. You'll remember the Doot Doot commercial? Doot Doot, a beneficial Doot Doot. You're good for more. It's great to know. Doot, you're good for more. A beneficial. And Nationwide is on your side. Nationwide is on your side. And we did airlines. What is that? We're American Air.
Unbelievable.
I went on and on and on.
On and on and on. Unbelievable. I got to ask you a question. The first one you did was I'd like to buy the world a Coke, which, of course, was I'd like to teach the world to sing, which was a hit for, refresh my memory.
The Hilltop Singers.
The Hilltop. Being that you wrote it, how did you not wind up recording it?
Well, it can't. I didn't write it. I just was the singer hired to do that commercial with that film. It was written by the original song was written in England, and some New York jingle writers copied their chords and things and ended up writing their own jingle. But jingle writing's not all it's cracked up to be. The singers make money, but and the on-camera talent makes money. They get the residuals.
Right. It's definitely a business that needs to be scrutinized a little more so that everybody could benefit from worldwide success and things like that. So you produced for a long while. You stepped back from singing, and I mean some of the big names that you worked with, Cher. I mean, if you're going to talk about a one-name person, Cher, Pat Benatar, Irene Cara, and the legendary John Denver. I mean, now these are all normally a producer. Not that I'm a schooled musician, but normally a producer that produces a pop record becomes a producer for other pop singers. You produced a disco lady, a balladeer, a hard rocker, a disco girl, and a country superstar. How do you apply your producing schools the same to each different music and it just comes together, or do you have certain mindset of everything different?
Working with different people, say from Manilow to Cher or Irene Cara, you have to let them be themselves, and you have to surround them with what makes them the best they are. Bring them to the top of what they could be. And so one good thing is I don't have a huge ego, so I could put my ego aside and look at them objectively and work with them to understand that they're the star, and I want to please them. I want to bring my best game to them. So fortunately, I was a guitar player who could sing. I worked with all kinds of elements in commercials, from rock to R&B to jazz to pop, right? And bubblegum. So I knew all these areas. So each artist I worked with had their own area. Cher had her own universe, and she was really easy to work with. Right. But you just had to, Irene Cara was in a dance universe, which I had to immerse myself in. I would go to the clubs and listen to dance music and go with her and see what she was relating to. So I really enjoyed doing that album. But that's it. You've got to really, really get into the artist,
Right.
and not overlay your taste on them, but bring out their best taste.
Wow.
Hey, Gene, real quick, are your speakers up? I'm getting feedback on your side.
Me?
Yeah.
My speakers aren't up any more than they used to be. Hold on, let me.
Okay, because I was getting feedback when Ron was talking. I was hearing him through your speakers.
Is that better?
Yes, let's see.
I'm sorry.
It sounds like a little low rumble, but I'll control it from here.
Okay. John, Ron, tell me about John Denver. He was an enigma, an American icon. How easy going was he? Because you hear stories about John Denver. Is it all true? Was he just one of the nicest guys in the world?
He was a great guy. He was a great guy. And, from the image he portrayed, you thought he'd be kind of a light, easygoing, Zen type of guy, in touch with the country and stuff. And, not very forceful, but a great singer, right? And a great songwriter. In person, he was a strong guy. It was a starker. He had strength, physical strength, vocal strength, and he knew his image and worked it and portrayed it. Working with him, he was very serious about his art and what he would be singing and what track I would be doing with him. So I was very impressed with his strength, and that he wasn't really the image you see on TV or in the videos. He was a very serious man about his art. And we used to get drunk together after the sessions because he liked to drink.
Yeah, he didn't portray a serious man, and I think that's why America took to him, because he was very free loving. But there's a great documentary out about him that calls him the Sinatra of country music. And when he and Sinatra got to work together, it was his. He knew he made it.
Yeah, when he did a duet with Manilow on a TV special, I produced their tracks, and they did a medley of Everly Brothers songs, and they did it over and over and over again. And I must say, Denver's voice never wavered ever during the rehearsals, during the tapings, during the recording of the tracks. He had the strongest voice beside Manilow. He was one of the strongest voices I ever worked with.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ron, this is why we do these shows, because we like people to hear the stories behind the stories that they don't get to hear. Such as this one. You actually had a third cartoonish group called the Chan Chans. What was this? Was this your life? Was your life cartoon groups?
My life is animated. Come on. The Chan Clan came through Don Kirshner, same filmation company, doing a CBS cartoon show on Saturday mornings based on the character Charlie Chan, which was a great character in the 40s and 50s. Anyway, this was called The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. So he had all these kids that had a band, and I was the voice, and I wrote and produced the songs for every sequence of the first year, and wrote it with my good friend Howard Greenfield, who wrote all those great Neil Sedaka hits, 20 or 30 Neil Sedaka hits, and Love Will Keep Us Together.
I got to tell you a little funny Don Kirshner story. When I was a kid, I used to sell candy for our school, and my father was a very influential person, as we spoke before, as was my mother. In different areas. And I used to sell the most candy out of my school every year. So every year I would get a choice of 2 tickets to the circus or 2 tickets to something else. Well, in 1973, it was either 2 tickets to the circus or 2 tickets to Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Oh, nice.
So 73, I'm 7 years old. I'm going to go to the circus. If you go down to the Museum of Television and Movies in New York City and you pull up the video, you could find out who was on certain shows. So I went there and I brought my ticket. You ready for this lineup? This is what was on Don Kirshner's rock concert that night. Roy Orbison,
Yeah, wow.
Jackie Wilson,
Yeah.
Brenda Lee, the Everly Brothers, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Bobby Darin.
Oh my! Were they live?
All live. It was, you know, Don used to do today's music, Kiss, Doobie Brothers. It was a flashback show.
Yeah.
So, and that was like August of 73. I went to the circus, which I regret to this day. And I could have went, saw all those great acts. So now, you forayed into disco. 79. Tell us about that that branch of your life.
Well, you know, disco took over for a while, right? All those clubs, all those hit records. Almost every artist, even Rod Stewart, did a disco record. Do you think I'm sexy, right? So I decided to form a group called Dante's Inferno, and a record company gave me a lot of money to go make an album, and I did. I was also producing on Broadway, and one of the shows I was producing was called Ain't Misbehavin'. And it was the Fats Waller's songbook with Nell Carter and a few great artists. And I decided to do disco versions of some of the Fats Waller songs. So I included that on Dante's Inferno. So it was a lot of fun to do an album like that. I hired the guy who did a great guy named Harold Wheeler, who's a very, very famous arranger. And he did the entire arrangements for all the songs. He did. He helped on Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive." He did the horns and strings on that. So he was a talented disco arranger and just a great arranger in general. You know, he could do anything. He's still great. So that was my foray into disco, and it was a lot of fun.
Right, but you released "Sugar Sugar" as a disco record.
That's right. I got Barry Manilow to do a disco arrangement of it for me. So he did a great arrangement for me, and we sang backgrounds to me. And Sugar Sugar Disco is really cool. I always like that cut.
We can't find it anywhere publicly right now, so maybe somewhere down the road we can get that up in Riven. So now let's talk about your two really your life-spanning career collection. We got something called the Funhouse.
Yeah.
Archie's Funhouse.
Yeah.
So this is what, 2 CDs, Ron?
There it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So this is 2 CDs. How many songs?
I think there are 46.
46 songs, all vocaled by you.
Yes.
And they go back to the Detergents?
No, I didn't put any Detergents, but I did put a few Cufflinks on it. A few Cufflink cuts. I put the Chan Clan on it.
Yeah.
I was the voice of Spider-Man on an album called Beyond the Grave.
Right.
And I did 4 songs of Spider-Man. That's a couple of those cuts are on it. But there's a lot of unreleased Archie songs on there. And just some of my favorite songs I always wanted to sing. I have guest artists on it. Andy Kim does Rock Me Gently with me. Tony Wine does Summer in the City. And Bruce Johnson does All Summer Long, a Beach Boys song. Bruce from the. So I got a couple of guests on there. And it's just a wonderful package. I had a lot of fun putting together my favorite songs.
Right. And I didn't see the cover too good, but is the Grassroots on it?
No, there are no Grassroots on this one. I didn't put any Grassroots. Maybe the second Funhouse.
So we're going to have Funhouse number 2.
Oh, yeah. I got plenty of material.
Beautiful. And then also, with Thanksgiving being a few days away, get us into the holiday season, Ron.
Well, I definitely have a Christmas album ready to go.
We got it. Mike, put it up.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah. So this is one I did a few years ago with a couple of girl singers to help me fill in the voices of Betty and Veronica. But I sing 4 solos on this one. That one's on iTunes and it's on Amazon and Spotify. Yeah, it'll be all over the place. It's a great Christmas album.
Are those original Christmas songs?
1 or 2 of them original. The rest are just classics.
Yeah.
Up on the rooftop, Santa Claus is coming to town. Classic Christmas songs done in an Archie's arrangement.
Wow. Now, and I got to ask you something. A lot of people want to know, maybe you can answer this question. What is the dog's name on that cover?
Hot Dog.
Hot Dog, yes. He got
Do you know, a few years ago, Hebrew National Hot Dogs did a commercial with the song Hot Dog that I sang. You know, they loved it. You know, I'm the voice of Applebee's this week.
This week?
Applebee's new commercial is Sugar Sugar.
Oh, we haven't heard it yet in New York. Must be in California.
It's been playing all over the country.
Wow. And you did another CD back in 99 called Dante's Saturday Night Blast. And on it, you do a song called Angels Among Us. Is that the Alabama song?
Yes. I heard them do it live when I was touring. And I said, when I get back to L.A., I've got to record that song. It's the most beautiful song I'd ever heard. And I just love that version. So that's why I did it.
So let's tell our viewers, all of these wonderful CD compilations are available on Amazon and iTunes. But if you want a special autographed copy, everybody should go to the Facebook page, Amy's Rock and Pop Shop. And Ron has graciously signed copies to get through that page. So you could go to Amazon or go to iTunes, but if you want something really special, look for the page Amy's Rock and Pop Shop, and that's the letter N. Can I tell everybody who she is?
Yes, go ahead.
She is the lovely wife of one of the greatest lead singers, again from my neighborhood, New York.
Right, that's
Chuck
right.
LeGrand from Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
Chuck LeGrand.
Yeah. That's Chuck's wife. Chuck and I were supposed to be on tour this summer with the Happy Together tour.
Yes.
And unfortunately, all our dates got canceled, but they're all rebooked for next summer.
And we're very happy for that. But we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, tell us when you wound up, because you were friends with him, which I didn't know, with Paul Schaefer on the David Letterman show. You gave Paul his first start.
Yes, I gave him his first major job. I hired him to be piano player on the Barry Manilow sessions.
Unbelievable.
And he was just starting out in the business. It gave him a lot of credibility to be on the top artist of the day, being on the albums. But Barry was very specific. He didn't like many keyboard players. Yeah, he loved Schaefer. He thought Schaefer played great, and he loved his attitude, very positive, up. And so they meshed. And you can hear Paul play on some great stuff on a couple of our albums that we did in the 70s.
One of the greatest piano players, Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Paul Schaefer at that show at the Bottom Line as well?
Yes, he was. In fact, Paul comes to all the shows I do. Yep. If he's in the vicinity, he'll show up. You know, we're just good old friends, and we keep in touch.
Yeah, because I have a picture with me and him, and that's where it was. One of my favorites, which was a tragic story, was David Cassidy.
Yeah.
You knew David pretty well.
Very well. We actually started our career the same time. When I got my solo album, he was on the road promoting the Partridge Family, and we met in Pittsburgh, and we became fast friends. And I gave him some good advice because I was a few years older than he was. I said, be very careful with the young girls because some of them are underage and you don't want to get in trouble. So we traveled by plane and bus together for a couple of months. Right. And we remained friends. We remained friends all out there. That was in Cleveland. We were hosting the Upbeat Show, which was a great local Dick Clark type of show. That's where we became friends.
I don't know who's got more hair there, you or him. Look at that.
It was the style. It was the style of the day, man. Now it's whatever it is. You know? Yeah. But he was a great guy and super talented. He could have done anything with his career, anything he wanted. But the Partridge Family made him so famous that he was kind of logged into that, you know. That's the image that people wanted of him. But he was a serious musician.
He was a rock and roller.
At heart, he was a rocker, definitely.
Very sad that we lost him recently at such a young age.
Yeah.
So you were a detergent, then you were a Cufflink, then you were an Archie, then you were a Chan Clan. And you've come full circle now because now you're a turtle. And let me preface this, ladies and gentlemen. I am not insulting Ron in any way. For the past few years, Ron has been not only a part of the Happy Together tour, but he's part of the Turtles. Why don't you tell us about that story?
Well, in 2017, they hired me to open the show as Ron Dante of the Archies. Mm-hmm. So we did a whole 50-city tour. It was great. I figured they'd ask me back the next year maybe. Well, they called me up and they said, listen, we want you to be part of the Turtles. Howard, the lead singer, is going to retire, and you're the guy who can sing those songs. Would you do it? Would you become the lead singer of the Turtles? And I just jumped at the chance because what a great catalog of hits. Eleanor, She'd Rather Be With Me, Happy Together. I got to close the show every night. So we did 2 tours. This year's tour was canceled, but next year is already booked. So
I saw you last year in Jersey.
Yeah,
it was you, Turtles, Cowsills,
right,
Buckingham's,
Association,
Classic 4, Chuck Negron, and there was one more. Oh my God, maybe I'm wrong, but at the end, you all come out together and you do a little piece of each hit song, and when you do Sugar Sugar, the place erupts.
Wow,
it erupts. I don't know if you could hear that on stage because of the monitors,
couldn't. Yeah.
And you can't see the audience because of the spotlights. But everybody loves Joy to the World and Kind of a Drag,
right?
And all those great songs. Not taking anything away from anybody, but when you go into Sugar Sugar, it is saccharine overdose. Saccharine. Oh, Gary Puckett was on the show. Yes. Gary.
Yeah. All great acts. I used to watch all of them from backstage. They're all good. Right. And we all support each other, all the acts. Next year we're going to have the Vogues on the show. So Chuck will be there, Mark Lindsay, the Association, and the Cowsills. So it's going to be another full lineup of all hits all night.
All hits all night. That's a great show, and we'll be there to support you as well. But let me ask something. Touring in 2019 as compared to 1969, do you get tired of it? Are you rejuvenated every night? I mean, you could stay home on your laurels.
It's true.
Yeah. There are people that do it for money. And there are people that do it for fame, and there are people who do it because it's what pumps their heart.
Yeah.
You seem to be the one that it pumps your heart, that you can't live without it.
Well, it's a gift after all these years to still be in demand, and that the crowds come and they fill the auditoriums and they cheer you on. It's a great gift. So to turn it down would be a shanda, as they say. Right. I just can't. I couldn't see turning it down. I figure the buses are luxurious. They treat you good. They're sleeping bunks. They're TVs.
Oh, you don't sleep on the coat rack anymore?
Yeah, no more coat racks. I got my own. You know what they call it? They call it a condo on the bus. You get a condo. You can sit up. There's a TV. There's air conditioning. Your phone is in there, so it's very reasonable, and they take good care of us. Nice hotels, and I must say, every night the crowd gives back way more than we give sometimes. It's just the crowds are great. So it was great for my spirit to go out and do it. Just it's a lot of fun, and you feel the music keeps you young. You know what it's like when you do your Elvis thing. It keeps you young. It's always fresh. You never get tired of it because it's always a new performance, right? You got to rise to the occasion and see what the audience gives you. I've been very blessed in my life.
Right. There's always somebody new in the audience there for the first time, so you want to give them the best. You did so many facets. Was there any one thing that you wanted to do that you didn't do that could still be achieved, or you just said, okay, I did 50 years in the business. was there anything you wanted to do in this business that you never did? Because it seems like you did everything.
You know, I was very fortunate. I had like 6 careers, you know, and they spanned these 50 years. But if I had, there's one thing I hadn't done would be to act. I never got the opportunity because I was always too busy to maybe act, be in a role somewhere. That's the only thing. It's kind of in the back of my mind, and you never can tell. You never can tell. You know, people, opportunities come your way. I mean, my friend Tony Orlando was in the Adam Sandler movie.
Yes.
He had, you know, you never can tell what's going to come your way. But I'm very fortunate. I don't wish for anything right now. You know, I've done everything I thought I would be doing and way more.
Wow.
Way more to know the people I know is a great thing.
Of course. You know, when I started, I knew about you. I mean, you're not a hidden gem. I knew about you. But there was another guy that had sort of your career who was not known for being himself. Remember Tony Burrows?
Sure. I'm friends with Tony.
Is Tony still with us?
Yes, he is. He's in England. He's in England.
Talk to him. I mean, for those of you,
I'll give you his contact.
Yeah, for those
he would love to talk to you. He's got 5 groups.
So listen, Tony Burrows, for you that don't know, was the lead singer of the song Beach Baby. He was the lead singer of Yummy Yummy Yummy, right?
No,
well, give me.
No, that was Joey Levine. He was this Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes.
Edison Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Beach Baby.
Yeah.
What else? He did like 5. He had 5 top 10 hits, all under different groups.
It was the voice of the song "United We Stand."
Yep, United We Stand.
Yes, he had 5 groups. I can't list them all off my head, but I brought him into New York to do a show about 6-7 years ago at one of the casinos out near the airport, and he and I represent 9 groups. So he just kept singing his hits. I just came out singing my hits. It was a great moment. Then we all ended with Beach Baby and one of those great hits, "The Love Grows." You know, he was an amazing guy.
Yes.
He still is.
You played the Resorts World Casino. Yeah,
that's where we were. I brought Dennis Stefano in and Bo Donaldson. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Bo Donaldson and the Haywards. Billy don't be a hero. Wow. This is, and I ask everybody this, Ron, a book. What do you think? Are you writing one?
Yeah, there'll definitely be a book in my future. It's just to take the time to go through the memories and see if I can make it interesting with the backstories.
I don't think you have any problem making it. And you know what? We're going to be locked down for another 6 months. This is your time to do it.
And then we'll take care of the acting too, Ron. Next time you're here, we'll make sure you're in a film.
We'll take care of the acting. You come to New York, we'll put you in something.
Call Martin Scorsese. He's a friend. I'd be perfect in a Goodfellas.
No, I don't think so.
Really.
I don't think so. Hey, Ron, would you mind? Would you? You know, Ron Dante is your stage name. Is that your middle name, Ron? Because your first real name is.
Well, I was born Carmine.
Hey, Carmine!
Carmine, and I should own a pizzeria. You know, I should be in the mob, or I should be running numbers or something. You know, because all the mobsters, were named Carmine.
What mob? What mob?
Yeah, I know. There's no such thing. I agree. It doesn't exist. Yes.
Mike, shut up! You're making me laugh. Yeah, just. You know, Ron, I just, there's so many questions that I had on the top of my head, and just being here with you, it's just really an honor. You are a part of Americana and worldwide, because like I said, Bob Marley did Sugar Sugar. So when we're in Jamaica and we're sipping on a Bahama Mama, and there's a Jamaican steel drum band, and they go into Sugar Sugar, now I know why. But I, on behalf of Mike and all of our viewers, want to thank you so much, Ron. It was a pleasure. Check out rondante.com for your website and go to Amazon and iTunes and Amy's Rock and Pop Shop on Facebook to get an autographed copy. Ron, hopefully, we're going to stay in touch. Absolutely. And when you come back to New York, I'll take you to a nice pizzeria place called Carmine's.
That's what I miss. We'll go to Carmine's. Great.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we do every week, will you please give our guest, Mr. Ron Dante, the biggest round of applause you can? Ron Dante, ladies and gentlemen.
You,
Mike, that's your cue, Mike.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Mike, the applause, the applause.
I was trying to
the applause.
I was trying to do the applause, but I was clapping. I'm sorry.
Bye, Ron.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, stay safe.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Wow, Gene. Another great show.
Another great show.
Yes.
Were
Next
you doing
week?
your writing? Were you doing your writing?
I did a little writing. Gene, just real quick, your gain. Can you just lower your gain a little bit?
I got one. I got one knob here.
All right, leave it alone. We'll fix it later.
It's the same. It's been on the same thing for 7 weeks.
Okay.
Wow, what a show, huh, Mike?
Yeah, what a show. What names? The names and everything he's done. Everybody knows his songs, and it's incredible. It's really incredible.
He's another guy that a lot of people don't realize what he did because a lot's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, just the jingles alone make this guy an everyday household name.
Right.
And then when you put together the producing and you top it off with Sugar. I mean, I was a DJ for many years. I still do DJ jobs. And whenever they come out with the cake or the dessert trays, I open up with Sugar.
Right.
Great stuff.
Great song.
We got to get him in a TV show.
Oh, we'll work on that.
So, Mike, let's talk about next week. So, next week, we're going to have a very, very good friend of mine. In my book, one of the best tenors on the planet.
Great
Aaron
voice.
Caruso, who played Mario Lanza on Broadway a few times in some preliminaries, is going to be our guest. Talk about a talent and an all-around nice guy. He's one of the Italian tenors. He tours the country and the world, and he's going to be a very interesting guest. And can't wait for him next week. And I think, why don't we talk about the guest after that, which was supposed to be our first guest when we started back in September. Finally, one of my dearest friends and a man who has been there for me time and time again, Larry Chance from Larry Chance and the Earls is going to be here on December 7th. Right. We were supposed to start with Larry. The allergy season kicked in, so he had to bow out. So we got him. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a great show. Talk about another guy. Here's a guy who made a career 60 years. I don't think he ever had a real job.
Amazing.
He was a 6-night-a-week singer.
That's a job.
You know what that takes?
Yeah, it's tough.
So he's going to be our guest. We got some other great guests coming up. Check out the page Reminiscing with Gene DiNapoli. If you're on Facebook, God bless you. If you're not, you could watch us on YouTube by going to the Gene DiNapoli channel and subscribing. You'll see the same show we show here. Mike, once again, let's thank our sponsors.
Okay.
Pure Organic Dry Cleaning, 3166 East Tremont Avenue in the Bronx, New York. Call up Wally, pay for 3, get 1 free. SundrencedCruises.com. Howard and Karen get a $50 or $100 gift certificate with your paid vacation. SweetHeal.com, pure CBD oils and pills and gummies to help you manage your stress or whatever it is. 20% off by mentioning my name. And last but not least, today, Francisco, the creative CPA, website Trans Francisco. Mention our podcast, and the first 2 callers will get an hour's worth of consultation for free.
That's great.
We also have a restaurant. I didn't get the logo to you yet, but it's the one we play often. San Martino in Yonkers, New York.
Nice.
We'll have it for next week.
Very good.
Everybody, these are trying times. It is not the norm, nor will it be the permanent. I know this Thursday is Thanksgiving. Celebrate how you can and brush it off, because next year we'll have 20 people at the table once again.
Right.
I'd like to personally wish my beautiful niece Gina a very happy birthday tomorrow, and my father Lou a very happy birthday on Friday, 82 years young, along with Karen, one of our sponsors from Gene Destination, will be celebrating her birthday. If you like what I do, my name is Gene DiNapoli. If you don't like what I do, my name is Mike DeRita. Check out my page, my website, GeneDiNapoli.com. Mike, I want to extend my hand to you. Thank you for all you do, Mike.
Thank you,
and also a very big congratulations to you, Mike, on a career-changing addition.
Yes. Yes.
We're not going to get the cat out of the bag to you yet, but Mike is the producer of 5 or 6 different shows, and because of his new position, he's going to have to leave most of them, but we're very happy to say Mike will still be with us. So, Mike, from my house to yours, happy Thanksgiving. Happy week, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, stay strong, be positive, and God bless America.
All right, we're going to take it out with a little Bang Shang-a-Lang. What do you think?
Shang-a-lang.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I recall just walking down the street, trying to escape the city heat. I saw her from the corner of my eye. Yeah, she looked so good I thought I'd die. My heart went bang, shang-a-lang.